How do I change this? Okay, I now put to everyone. Yes. Good morning. Okay, so yes, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. I think online today the link has been changed. For that reason, people are slowly joining. That's fine. So let's jump on. What did we discuss in our last class? Ready for shootout? Ready? Okay. So what is a region? What is a region? A region is a geographical area, but in other words, what do we say? Region is a place where AWS has its infrastructure. Good. And what does a region contains? So what is availability zone? Region contains availability zone, and availability zone is a data center. So these regions and availability zones are completely managed by AWS. We should call it as AWS. Okay. Okay. And what is the Mumbai region code? AP minus South minus 1. Okay. And how many availability zones are there in Mumbai? 3. What are those? 1A, 1B, 1C. And these availability zones network are interconnected with each other or not? Network are interconnected with each other. So, and then is it recommended to keep all EC2 instances in 1A availability zone? No. What do you do? It is better to distribute. Okay. It is better to distribute. Okay. And okay, that's fine. And let's take, and do you remember what is latency? Which one is good? Low latency is good or high latency is good? Low latency is good. So you will get a fast response, correct? Okay, good. Now, one availability zone meaning it's a group of data centers, true or false? True, right? So is there any chance that 1A availability zone will go down completely? No way. Okay. And two regions can communicate with each other by default? Answer is no. If required, yes. So what is a load balancer? Which distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability zones. That last bit is important. Across availability zone. Fantastic. Okay. And if you want to secure your entire infrastructure should be inside the virtual private cloud in the VPC. What's the full form? Virtual private cloud. Two VPCs can communicate with each other by default? No. If required? Yes. How many VPCs you can create in the region? Maximum 5 VPCs you can create. And your VPC span across availability zones? Yes, the VPCs can span across availability zones. Fantastic, guys. Okay, very good. And today, what we're going to do is, I'm in front of you, I'm keeping two options. Number one. And from today, what we do is we need to jump onto the services. You know, right? AWS is a group of services. So EC2, BeanStalk, like this, we need to keep on learning all the services. Option one is, should I give you the overview and brief all the services that we're going to learn first? Second option is, okay, the first option is, first I will give you the overview of all the services, like what is EC2, what is BeanStalk, what is this. I'll give the overview first so that you are well aware about all the services, and then you can think even more actually. That is option number one. Option number two is directly go to the service, take the service and talk about it. So which one do you need? Option one or option two? Option? Everyone are confirmed? Okay. So if you go for option one, few days, we will be just talking about the brief. After that, we'll do the practicals. Is that okay? Are you in hurry? Online, are you in hurry? No, right? So do you believe me? Yes or no? Do you trust me? Correct? So for all my batches, I personally suggest go with the option number one, because that will extend the number of days. That's fine completely. I don't mind at all. Okay. But let me give an example. Chiti, which is your favorite place that you want to visit? Huh? Kasak Raja. Okay. Uti, huh? Goa. Huh? Okay. Let's say, for example, Goa. Manali is there. Okay. Let's take Manali. Goa lovers are there. Okay, fine. Huh? Bangkok, huh? So, okay, let's take your favorite Bangkok only. Is it better to know about the Bangkok first? Which are the places that you want to go? First, you will explore things. First, before going to the Bangkok, what do you do? What are the places are there? What are the things that we need to see? And what is the connection between one and second and third and fourth? Which one we to go to first? Will you go like this or directly go to Bangkok? Right? So who are directly is that, vlog travelers will be there? No, they will go directly to explore things because they have full time. But you need to learn here, right? So is it better to go directly or just learn about the overview first? Overview first, no? For that reason, what I do, even though the number of days are getting increased, that's completely fine. We'll go with the overview first, right? For few days, maybe 4 or 5 days, we'll just go with the overview of the services so that you will get a confidence on what are the services that we're going to learning. And then we'll take one service, we'll do deep dive in it and we'll do the practicals. We'll take second service, we'll do the deep dive and do the practicals. We'll take third service, we do the deep dive and do the practicals. Like this, we'll be going. So is this everyone are you guys agree? Deal? Okay. Super. Because once you start learning or once you learn from me, you should not come back again. Or you should not go to that tube, this tube, and then search for what is the topic about. No, you should fix in your brains permanently. Online, can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? Okay. So let's start the overview of the services. So the first service that we always talk about is whenever we talk about AWS, what is the first service that we talk about? EC2. So EC2 is the backbone of AWS. It's a monster. It's a beast. So it's a very huge, right? So if you are an AWS engineer, you must and should know in and out about the EC2. EC2 is the biggest service in the AWS, right? So what is the full form of EC2? Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2. So we know a little bit about EC2. Nana, in EC2, what do we do? In EC2 service, what do we do? We can create instance. Okay, see here now. So you create VMs, no? Instead of VMs, what should we call? Instead of virtual machines, what should we call? Instances we need to call. But here, it is not good to call it as create instances. Okay? It is good to call launch instances. What's that? So you need to get habituated with the wording, no? What is the word that you should use? Launch. Because whenever you go to the practicals, in practicals, everywhere it says launch instance, launch instance, launch instance, launch instance. So if you say in interview, create instance, what he will feel? What he'll think? He'll think that you have not done the practicals. Because those who have done the practicals, those who are habituated with the console, they will always say launch instances. Which one, Anna? The launch. So don't use the word called create. So use the word called launch. So what is this? In EC2 service, we can what? launch EC2 instances. EC2 instances. So what are the servers called here? As I just said, servers are called instances. What instances? EC2 instances. So this instance is nothing but VMs only, no? Yes. Nice. Okay. So Nana, in AWS, every service will be either regional or global. What's that? Every service in AWS, either it will be a regional or global. So if you take so many services are there. So many services are there. Few services are global, few services are regional. So like that, every service in AWS will be either regional or global. Let's take an example of our EC2. So you tell me EC2 is regional or global? EC2 is? Yesterday we have learned this. Okay, so I'll tell you the difference between global and regional. Regional meaning, if you launch an EC2 instance in Mumbai region, that EC2 instance will be sitting only in the Mumbai region. Will that EC2 instance will be in another region at the same time? No. So that meaning EC2 is regional or global? Correct? So like this, few services are there which are available for all the regions, that is global. But EC2 is regional. Like this, BeanStalk, we have discussed about BeanStalk. What is BeanStalk? Easy and quick deployment of applications. So BeanStalk is also regional. There are few services that we're going to learn soon. So those few services will be global. So, but at the moment, because we know EC2, no. So EC2 is regional. So here I'll write AWS services can be regional or global. Regional or global. So our EC2, Nana? EC2 is regional. That is a certification question. EC2 is regional. So understood the concept of regional? What is the concept of regional? It will be only in that region. So that's it, that EC2 instance will not be at, see, I'm here in front of you. Can I be in every places? Not possible, no? So I'm here only specifically here only. So that is I'm regional here. If I'm available everywhere, anywhere, then I'll call it as global. Okay. Good, Nana. So now, you know very well, what is load balancer? Okay, generally, before that, what is the first definition of load balancer? Which distribute the traffic to multiple servers. Okay, this we know. Let me give an example now. Load balancer. So let me take a real-time example. Now I'm talking about your on-premises. What is it? In on-premises, you have servers, no? You have multiple different servers will be there. So it can be what are the servers that you have in your on-premises? For example, can we have your app server? Can we have a DB server in the backend? In front, can we have load balancer also? In your on-premises, I'm talking about on-premises. This is on-prem. In on-premises also, load balancer is just a software. What is that? Load balancer is a software. Do you remember we discussed about web server? That web server, the load balancer, both are same. So you can take either a web server, you can take a load balancer in on-premises, it's same. So assume you have the load balancer in your on-premises on a physical machine. Where on a physical machine. So all the traffic will come and hit whom first? Load balancer. And then it will go to application. And then it go to DB server. Yes or no? So I'm asking you a question now. In your on-premises on physical machines, is it easy to set up high availability? Is it easy to set up high availability? In on-premises? No. It's very hard. So how many machines you will put? Here in EC2, here in AWS, it's a virtual machine. No, tup you can create, tup you can delete it. But in physical machine, can you have, if you have 2-3 physical machines in front of the load balancer, that is very hard, right? Is it possible to put 10-20 like this? in on-premises? Not possible. So no HA. And is it possible to have auto scaling in on-premises? Chitty, auto scaling. Auto scaling. What is auto scaling? Scale out, scale in. So in on-premises, will you do the magic to set up new machines just like that? Whenever there is a load, automatic physical servers will come up from the earth. Tup like magic, abracadabra. Right? No, right? So it's highly impossible to set up auto scaling on your on-premises. No auto scaling. Okay. How about scalability? Scale up, scale down. No. What is scalability meaning? Scale up, scale down. What is scalability in other words? Increasing the capacity of the server. Okay, you have a physical machine which is having 8 GB. Okay, one time you'll increase to 32 GB. Second time you increase to 64. After that, we'll keep on increase, yeah, on premises. No, right? So it is hard or not? So no scalability. So do you see the problem with the on-premises? So just in case, Pusuk, if this goes down, load balancer goes down, your entire application is gone or not? Yes or no? Just in case your load balancer is gone, is crashed or is not responding, will you able to access your application? No. So you have the problem with the on-premises load balancer or not? Agree, Nana? Everyone? Yes. So now welcome to AWS load balancer. In AWS also we have the load balancer concept. And that, guys, load balancer in AWS, we call it as elastic load balancer. What is that? Do you understand? We discussed about elastic, no? Our load balancer is what now? Elastic. So, and good thing is, this elastic load balancer, in shortcut, we call it as ELB. What is that? Elastic load balancer. This load balancer is not a server now. This load balancer is a service from AWS. Load balancer is a service. If it is service, do we need to worry about the load balancer? Do we need to worry about the performance of load balancer? Do we need to worry that load balancer will go down? Because it is a service from AWS. You no need to worry about what happens if my load balancer goes down. There is no way that load balancer will never go down. So what is that called in AWS? Elastic load balancer. What is it, Nana? Elastic load. So in shortcut, you call it as ELB. Elastic load balancer. ELB. So now tell me the definition of ELB. ELB distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability zones. Very good, very good. So that is the actual definition of our load balance. So when I draw the diagram like this, what is this? Now you got habituated, huh? What is this? What are these? EC2 instances. So this load balance is sending the traffic like this. So this is ELB. What is it? ELB. And these are what? EC2 instances. EC2, EC2, EC2. And then can I have this EC2 instance in 1A? Can I have this EC2 instance in 1B? Can I have this in 1C? Possible? Yes. Understood, Nana? On top of it is required, can I set up what? This. Auto scaling. What is that? Auto scaling. So we can set up auto scaling. What is auto scaling, Nana? Scale out, scale in. So on top of it, we can set up here auto scaling. So now question here is, now you tell me, load ELB is completely managed by, yes or no? AWS. ELB is completely managed by AWS. ELB is completely managed by AWS. So how do you access ELB? Is it a server? No, it is a service. If it is a service, AWS will give the URL, no? To access the load balancer, AWS will provide you the URL that is called DNS name or DNS URL or DNS name. Load balancer, DNS name. If I ask you a question now, how do you access the load balancer? Using DNS name. Using what? DNS name. So load balancer, will you access the load balancer with the IP address? Will you access the load balancer with the IP address? No, because that is a service, not a server. If it is server, there will be IP address. No. If it is service, do you know the IP address? So will you access the load balancer with the DNS name or the IP address? DNS name. And you know that DNS name look like http://mylb.com. Good URL? Is it good URL? I call it as nasty URL. What is that? Nasty. It doesn't look. Will you give that URL to customer? But we'll talk in coming days. How do you do the nice makeup for that? Okay. So ELB is completely managed. Okay, here. So ELB has what, Nana? DNS name. How do you access the load balancer? Using DNS name. So ELB is completely managed by AWS. Do we need to worry about high availability there? Do we need to worry about auto scaling? Do we need to worry about scalability? Do we need to worry about the performance? Nothing. Right? It's managed completely by AWS because that is a service. So ELB is a service for us, not a server. Okay. Now, as it is not a server, is it possible to log into the load balancer or access the load balancer? Access the load balancer. Is it possible to log in? Login concept will be for the servers. So access concept will be for the service. Okay. So so you cannot log into ELB. You can access ELB with the DNS name. With the DNS name. Yesterday we did this. Load balancer is specific to availability zone or a region? Excellent. It's a region. So load balancer doesn't have any availability zones. It is created at the regional level. It is created at the regional level. There is a question. What is the DNS name for ELB? I told you no. This DNS name is a nasty URL. What is that? How does the URL look like? Nasty. http:// okay, it will be like this. When you create a load balancer, the DNS name will be http:// mylb dot 123467891 dot elb.aws.amazonaws.com. This is the URL of the load balancer. Is it good to give it to the customer? So what we need to do, we need to give the nice name for it now. There is another service coming in. We'll discuss later. In that service, what do? You do the mapping. What is your favorite website? Boom.com. What is our website here? Assume that I'll be calling it as one website called boom.com. So if I want to access boom.com, that is pointing to the load balancer. Instead of giving that nasty URL to customer, what we do? We'll do the makeup for it. We'll do the makeup for it and give the alias name for it. There is a separate service to do all these things. We'll talk about that. Clear na, Shiv? So here, ELB, oops. Here, ELB doesn't have any availability zones. It is created at regional level. It's created at regional level. Got this, Nana? Guys, is this clear till here, everyone? Online CC, please. Nice. GT, EC2 is, as I said, it's a biggest topic, but I'm just touching it. Okay. This is just a trailer. This is just a trailer. Picture? We back here, those, right? So whatever we are discussing is, I'm just touching it. I'm just telling you, Babu, there is a service called EC2. This is how it look like. So we'll go deeper and deeper later. Okay, because I'm talking about the overviews. Okay, now there is another service city which is used for easy and quick deployment of applications. Which service is that? Elastic BeanStack. Very good. So the next thing here is Elastic BeanStack. What is Elastic BeanStack? What do you say? Easy and quick deployment of applications in AWS. Do you remember we discussed about the service models? Infrastructure as service, platform as service, software as service. So in platform as service, what our customers are responsible for? Application and data. Yes or no? So do we need to worry about the servers? Do you have control on the servers? Nothing. And I told you already that Elastic BeanStack is also a platform as a service in AWS. So in general, do we have control on the servers? No, right? No. So I'm writing there. In general, in platform as a service, you don't have control on the servers. Coming to BeanStack today, coming to the BeanStack, BeanStack is also a platform as a service. In BeanStack, the backbone of BeanStack is EC2. The backbone of BeanStack is what? EC2. So what you do, I'll tell you the real time. Now, I'll take the application. And I'll tell, hey, BeanStack, take this application. What BeanStack will do? It will create its own server. It will go and deploy. It will do everything. It will give the URL to you. Yes or no? So I am telling you, BeanStack will create the servers. No, the server is nothing but here, EC2. So that's why the backbone of BeanStack is what? EC2. The backbone of BeanStack is EC2. Whatever the BeanStack is doing, it is on the EC2 only in the backend. And remember, in general, in platform as service, we don't have control on the servers. But here, we have control on the servers because it is a EC2 instance only. But who is launching this EC2 instances? BeanStack, no? Who is launching? BeanStack. If BeanStack is launching, if BeanStack is managing it, is it good that you go and manage the EC2 instances? No. But do you have control? Yes, you have control. But is it good that you go and manage it? No. Who need to manage that? BeanStack. Because you have given to the BeanStack, let BeanStack will do everything for you. But whatever BeanStack is doing, you also can see it. You also have a control on it. You also have access to it. That is a good thing about the BeanStack. So, backbone of BeanStack is who? EC2. Okay. In BeanStack, okay, you have full control on EC2 instances launched by BeanStack. But is it recommended for you to control it, Nana? No. It is not recommended you to control it because BeanStack handles it. So who will handle the operating system, everything? BeanStack. BeanStack handles EC2 instances. That meaning OS behalf of us. Okay, now you understood? So I'm giving one example. Think and answer. Nana Chitti, we have a client here. We have a client. We have a client and assume that he has application in his hands. What he has in his hands? Application. That is developed in Java. That is developed in Java. Assume you are the client. Okay, you are AWS engineer. Or not assume, you are AWS engineer. Right? And now you have application in your hands. You have application in your hands. Tell me, What are the services do you have in AWS where you can set up this application? EC2, Elastic Window. Fantastic answer. Very good, guys. Very good. So what are the options that you have in front of you? One is EC2, another one is BeanStalk. So you know the clear difference between these two? EC2 meaning you need to go and launch machine, you need to go and deploy, you need to set it up, you need to create a load balancer, you need to do everything. Right? But just a second. Online, na? Na to na? Just give me a second. Okay, so you have an announcement. So, you know, right? So if the batch is fixed now, and people are still even more joining. So by tomorrow, you will get the Google Classroom and Telegram links. Okay. So Telegram, you will have it. So all your entire group will be in one Telegram, like Telegram group will be there. So there you can share all your AWS related topics, right? You can clear your doubts, and then you can see basically what I was telling is, anyways, I'm there for you to answer all your doubts or to clear all your doubts. And also our mentors is also there. So you have full-fledged support. Apart from that, let's say you are doing some practicals and all of a sudden you're doing some revision and all of a sudden you got some doubt. When in the night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, sometime. Do you need to wait for me? Do you need to wait for the mentors? Just put that question in the Telegram. Your friend or someone in the group will answer it. So use the Telegram group very efficiently, professionally. No good morning, good night messages. And then no send this message to 10 people, you will get the AWS certification automatically in 10 days. So don't do all these things in that group. So be very professional. And all the materials, information, updates of the class, everything will be in your Google Classroom also, in Telegrams also. So those two are your communication methods in our class. Okay, Nana? Good. Okay, come back here. Okay, so as I was asking, so client, you have some application in your hands. So what are the ways that you have, Nana? EC2 and then BeanStalk. So what you do in the EC2? In EC2, you need to go and create servers. You need to deploy. You need to set up everything by your own. So, but you have full control it or not? You have full control on EC2. And there is also another way, which is BeanStalk. In BeanStalk, do you need to do anything? Nothing. You have application, just give it to BeanStalk. He will do everything for you. Right? There are two ways. So if you are lazy, if you don't know how to deploy, if you don't want how to manage it, control it, then which one you'll go for? BeanStalk, right? So, but if you know how to deploy, you know how to set up, you want to do everything, you need to have control on it, then go for EC2. Understood, Anna? So, so here you have two ways. So in front of you, one is EC2, another one is BeanStalk. So EC2 and here BeanStalk. Don't worry about deployment. Deployment meaning putting your application into the server, we call it as deployment. Okay. So Nana, here in EC2, what you do? You need to launch EC2 instance, you need to configure, you need to deploy, you need to do maintain, etc. You need to do it. Whereas in BeanStack, just provide application. Everything will be done by the BeanStack. And here you need to select the platform. What you need to select? Platform. So in BeanStack, they will provide the platform like this. They will provide Tomcat, .NET, Docker, Python, right? And then Go, right? Ruby. There are so many platforms are there. So, so when you're configuring the BeanStack, when you're giving the application to BeanStack, you need to select the platform. Let's say you have Java application, Nana. Tell me which platform you need to select. Tomcat, no. And you have .NET application, .NET platform. You have Python application, Python. So you need to tell to the BeanStack is just a whatever the instructions that you are giving, it will follow. That's it. You don't need to do anything, but at least you need to give the instructions. No. Then will you go and tell to BeanStack, hey BeanStack, let's go. Will it do? No, right? So it's a bloody code in the backend, right? So you need to give the instructions to the BeanStack, and based on your instructions, it will deploy. Okay, no? So what it does, it just quickly it will go ahead and then launch EC2 instance for you, and automatically it will put application inside it for you. Application, and here you have EC2, and then it will generate a URL, and that URL you can access it. Okay, ma? Chidi, okay? Understood? Difference between EC2 and BeanStack? Is it clear online? CC, please. Okay. Okay. Assume you are a blogger. Who? Not vlogger. Blah, blah. Blogger. You know blogger? You know blogger? Who is a blogger? Not burger. Blogger. Who writes the blog? No, he writes the content. So you go to the internet, you read, no, that review, this review, that hero, this, that, everything. You see the articles, no? What he write? He'll write the blogs, articles, blogs, everything is same. So assume we have our friend here. Let's take Chandan. So we have our Chandan here, friend. So what Chandan did was, assume Chandan is a blogger. So what he used to do is, he opened the website, some other's website, and he used to write the blogs, articles there in his website. Later, Chandan got to know, why I need to write my content in other websites? Let me have my own website. Then when he asked, everyone said, hey, go to AWS, it's easy. Go to AWS, easy, you can set it up. So he came to AWS. You tell me, if you want to set up application, what are the two ways he has? One is EC2, another one is BeanStack. While going to the EC2, he decided to go to EC2 because he has full control. So, Nana, to launch an EC2 instance, there are 7 steps. How many steps are there? How many steps are there online? How many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7 adugulu. Right? 7 steps are there. So what Chandan did was, these 7 steps, step by step, he went and learned, because he don't know rehearsal. Right? So he read that tube, this tube, that demi, this demi, right? So he went to everywhere, got confused. And then finally, somehow he went and launched the mesh EC2 instance. After launching the EC2 instance, is it good? He need to deploy the application, no? There also he did a lot of time waste. And later, once he deployed, he need to know that they need to have a database in the backend. Again, he need to go and set up the database. Now tell me, he is a blogger or AWS engineer? He's a blogger, right? Is he a technical person? Is he a technical person? No. If anyone is interested to do this as a blogger, is a non-techie? No. So what he need to have is, in AWS, he will shout to AWS, AWS, what is this shit? There's so many steps are there. I'm not an AWS engineer. Give me one service which is, I want everything should be there. I click it, it should come. Everything should be there, readily available. Whichever I want, pick it and automatically it should come. For that, AWS also came up with a service called LightSail. What is that? LightSail. LightSail. What is that? Because the service is very light. It is not for heavy people like you and me. Heavy people meaning not Dumbo. Heavy people meaning more technical persons. For technical persons, EC2 is good. But for non-technical persons, where they don't want to do more technical, everything should be readily available. You just need to click it, automatically server should up with the website. So what is that here service we have? LightSail. So LightSail is a service, Nana, where you if you want to set up and create virtual private servers or virtual LightSail instance, here we call it as LightSail instance. There it is EC2 instance. Here it is LightSail instance, server only. In that, everything is installed. Whatever the latest technology that we have in the market, like Joomla, Drupal, WordPress, Nginx, GitLab, all the latest applications, everything will be readily available. Go and how you go to the bazaar and pick up the apples? This one, this one, this one. Done. Ready. But the disadvantage is here is it doesn't support auto scaling. It doesn't support. If it doesn't support auto scaling, would you recommend this for your production environment? That is why it is called LightSail. Now you understood why I said LightSail, because it is very light. And the configurations also were not very high, very, very small. So this is for smaller audience, small company, very few people. If they want to access the websites in AWS, then they go for the LightSail. What is the service, Nana, here? LightSail. So here, if you want to set up and create a LightSail instance, which already has everything installed, like, have you heard about WordPress? To create your websites, GitLab, Node.js, right? Joomla, Drupal, Redmine, right? Nginx, cPanel. See, I cannot write all those things. I'll put etc. because there are so many applications are readily available. Now there is Satya is asking, what is the difference between EBS? And by the way, don't call it as EBS. Call it as Elastic Beanstalk or Beanstalk, because EBS represent some other name in AWS. So whenever say EBS, it is some other name that we will discuss coming days. Here for Elastic Beanstalk, call it as Elastic Beanstalk or call it as Beanstalk. Enough. So what is the difference between Beanstalk and LightSail? In LightSail, in Beanstalk, you are providing the application, no? But here, are you providing the application? Application is readily available, no? It is like your software as a service. Everyone are asking, sir, there is no software as a service in AWS? Yes, now possible. When I say at that time, 2-3 days back, if I say yes, what are those? They will ask. If I say LightSail, will you able to understand on that day? No. For that reason, whatever I do for you, it is good for your health. Okay. Whatever I do in our course, it is good for you. When I skip something, skip it. When I tell something, learn it. It is good. So here, but what is the disadvantage here? It doesn't support auto scaling. It doesn't support auto scale. Clear, Nana? Online, is this clear, Nana? Here, till here, please. Yeah. Good. The next service here we have is Lambda. What is it? Not Nimda. No, it's Lambda. What is that? Lambda. Say that. Lambda. So Lambda, whenever you hear about Lambda, the first thing that you get in your mind is this is for automation. This is for automation. So automation meaning you need to know the coding. You need to know the coding. But actually this Lambda will be used mostly by the developers. Whom nana? Develop. Because developers knows the coding, no? But for you, you need to know a little bit of scripting. You need to know a little bit of scripting. So guys, I told you the package for your next decade, your combination for your career, the combination should be AWS, DevOps, and Python. So these three are the deadliest combination in the market at the moment. Not at the moment. For next 10 years, a deadliest combination. Because if you learn Python, you can easily. Okay, let me give an example. So by the way, can I say Lambda used for automation purpose? Lambda is used for automation. Nana, do you know what is function? Function meaning not that your function with marriages and all. In your developers language, what is a function? Developers. Any developer here offline? If you're a developer also, in the question, sorry, will ask questions. Okay. What is a function? So function is a set of statements. What is that? Set of statements. Let's say, I'll tell you. Let's say you have a function, Anna. What is that function? Is a set of statements, set of lines. So you're writing a code. When you're writing the code, that piece will come in each and every code. Because let's say, for example, you are connecting to the database. Your code should connect to the database or not? So in your code, in every place, will you put the database code? No. Instead of that, what you do, you take this piece separately, call it as a function, and write a few lines to connect to the database. And can you call this function simply wherever you want? So function can be reusable. Function can be reusable. Is a set of statement where you don't need to write the statement again and again in the code. Just write one time, and that function you call, just name you call in the function, name you call the function in your code. Simple as that. Okay, now that function, can you execute the function without application? You cannot. No, obviously. What is it, Ray? Without application, you cannot run the function. Okay. Now, can you run the application without server? No. What are you talking, sir? Server is important to run the application. But guys, now, that piece of function can be executed without application, without server, with Lambda. Lambda is serverless. Lambda is serverless. No server required. You understand what is serverless? Serverless meaning where you no need to log in. So basically, if you want an application, you need to launch one EC2 instance, take that application, deploy inside it. You need to do all this, Racha. I mean, all the problem, you need to do all the things. Yes or no? Instead of that, no server concept here. Only serverless. That meaning Lambda directly create functions. Directly you create a function. What functions are those? Lambda functions. What functions are those? Say that. Lambda functions. So create a Lambda function, and wherever in AWS, call that Lambda function, it will execute. No need to have server, no need to have application, nothing. Just put the function, you can execute that function, or you can invoke that function. Let me give one real-time example. Okay, so before that, can I say Lambda is serverless? And then can you run the code without the server? You can run the code without server in this Lambda. And what you create, Nana, in Lambda? Create. What functions are those? Lambda functions. To create Lambda functions. Okay. So let me give one real-time example for you. I will take, what is your name? Ritik, huh? Ritik, correct, no? So, let's say, for example, we have our friend here, Ritik. So what he did was, when we are learning this EC2, anyways, everyone are quite constantly, you guys are listening. But Ritik, what he did was, he got excited. He got excited that, wow, sir, what, sir, you're telling EC2, I want to go and launch EC2 instance today. He got motivated. He got a confidence. He got motivated. And what he did was, I got to know that he got excited a lot, motivated. When I told, hey, Ritik, don't launch EC2 instance, I said. Okay, sir, he'll say. What he did, he went home. He went home and 8 o'clock in the evening, Riya sir will be doing some work. So he launched the EC2 instance. Whenever he launched the EC2 instance, what is happening? It is getting terminated. Terminated meaning what? Delete. So what you can do is, here you can launch EC2 instance, you can stop EC2 instance, you can start EC2 instance, you can reboot EC2 instance, you can terminate EC2 instance. Terminate meaning what, Nana? Delete or destroy or kill, delete, fasak. Huh? Only once. Delete meaning close or complete, remove it. So whenever he's launching EC2 instance, array is getting terminated. Array? Okay. So night 11 o'clock, he launched EC2 instance. Again, it is terminated. Riya sir may be doing something. Okay, let's do one thing. Midnight 1 o'clock, he got up, thinking that Riya sir is sleeping. So he launched an EC2 instance. Again, it is getting terminated. Okay. What Riyas is doing is 1 o'clock in the midnight. Working, Ray. I'm working. Right? Now he got frustrated. Early morning, 4 o'clock, he put an alarm. And he got up 4 o'clock in the early morning and he launched EC2 instance. Again, it got terminated. This time now, next day he came to office and asked, Riya sir, tell me what you are doing in the night. Ray, what question is that, Ray? What? No, I'm sleeping. What do you do? No, sir. You are awake all the night. I know what you are doing in the night. You're putting some camera or what? Now, sir, whenever I launch EC2 instance, why are you terminating? Why you have so much grudge on me? I said, what? Right? What? How can I awake all the time in the night? So at what time you launched? He said, I launched at 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. 4 times I launched and you terminated these many times. I said, Are Babu, I told you yesterday not to launch an EC2 instance. Okay, sir, you told me not to launch an EC2 instance, but why you are awake all the time in the night and then terminating my machine? Are Babu, I am not awake. I wrote a Lambda function for you. What is that? I wrote a Lambda function. Whenever you are launching the EC2 instance, this Lambda function is going terminating the EC2 instance. Automation. What's that? Automation. You understand? So I gave in real-time one example here. Like this, if you want to automate, the first thing that you get in your mind is which service? Lambda. Right? So what I do is here, Nana, see, whenever he launched the EC2 instance, see, in AWS, everything, an event will be generated. What? Event. Whenever you launch the EC2 instance, launch event is generated in the backend code. Whenever you stop the EC2 instance, stop event is generated. Whenever you terminate. So whenever you create BeanStalk event. So whenever you create anything in AWS, an event is generated in the backend. Which one? Event is generated. All these events, okay. What event is triggered now here? Launch event. Yes or no? No. Okay, this machine is getting terminated. So launch event is generated. Launch event is triggered. Launch event is triggered. Now see here. All these events are stored in another service called Event Bridge. What is that, Nana? Say that. Event Bridge. So all the events in AWS, all the events in AWS are stored in which service? Whatever you do in EC2, all the events are stored in which service? Whatever you do in BeanStalk, what are the events are, where are the events are stored? Event bridge. Whatever you do in LightSail, what are the events are stored? Event bridge. Everything, all the events are stored in the event bridge. Now, if you want to do the automation, can you go to the event bridge and select whichever the event that you want? Yes. So what I do is I went to the event bridge and there I created a rule. What I created? Launch event is there in event bridge, no? So what I do, whenever the launch event is generated, now what I do is I'll write a Lambda function here. What function I'll write? Let's say terminate function. What is it? Nana, this Lambda supports different type of languages. It supports your Java, Python, right? Ruby, right? .NET, etc. There support so many languages here. But which is a favorite here? Python. Which one? Python. So what I do, I wrote a Python code and I named it as terminate function. So in that Python code, what is the code that I have written here? To terminate the EC2 instance. So my Lambda function is ready now with the Python code. So guys, Lambda, if you write a function, the function will be just sitting over there. The function will be just sitting, very lazy, just sitting like this. Okay. So whenever you want, you just need to live. What you need to? You need to invoke Lambda function. You need to tell Lambda function, get up, and Lambda function will get up, and whatever is there in the code, that code will get executed, and again it will sit quiet. You understand? So that is the reason why Lambda function is a very cheapest service in AWS. Serverless. What concept is this? So if you want to run one small Python function, generally what you do, that Python application should be there. That Python you need to install an EC2 instance. You need to deploy that, and then you need to run that Python function. But here, serverless. Directly write the function, execute it. So what this function now, what I do is, this launch event will invoke. So here, whenever the launch event is generated, this Lambda function is invoked. Yes or no? What is the word I'm using here? Invoked. So here, Lambda is invoked based on the trigger or event. Yes or no? So like this, you can write whatever the Lambda functions that you want, whatever the code, and then you can trigger that code will get executed. So, and all the events are stored in which service? Event bridge. Let's say, I'll give you one real-time example. You tell me how do you do that, huh? Nana, see here, I have so many EC2 instances. Let's say I have so many. As I don't have space, I'll put only this. How many are there? How many EC2 instances here? Why only 4? No space. Now, what I want is, at 9 p.m. in the night, all these machines should be stopped. Morning, 9 a.m., all the machines should be start. Tell me, how do you do this? Will you be in office at night, 9 p.m., take the time and manually stop it? And early morning you come as in office at 9 o'clock and start it? Will you do like this? That is a normal people will do. Those who know scripting, Python, what they'll do? They'll create a Lambda function. How many functions you will create here? How many functions will you create for this? 2. One is what function? Stop function. And another one is start function. Start function. And what I do, I will schedule it. What is it, Nana? So exactly 9, this event bridge, exactly at this event bridge, exactly at 9 p.m., right? It will trigger. What it will trigger? Stop function. So what is there in the stop function? A Python code to stop the EC2 instances. So that code will execute and all the EC2 instances will be stopped. So again, at morning 9 a.m., start function will execute and all the EC2 instances will be started automatically. So how do you do all these things? Using Lambda. You understand? I gave you real-time examples like this for any kind of for any kind of for any kind of automation. The first thing that you get in your mind is Lambda. Clear, no? See, Lambda is regional. Maximum 95% of the services are regional only. Which one? I will not separately say this service is region, this service is region, this service is region. I will when I don't say the service is regional, consider that is regional only. If there is any service separately, it is global. I'll tell you. So maximum by default, everything is regional. LightSail is regional, global, regional. BeanStalk is EC2 is regional. Lambda is there are few services there. I'll separate it that is global, but rest are all regional only. Okay, now I'll stop it here. Okay. Is it clear? Understood today's topic? Can you tell me here, what are the services that we have learned over you today? EC2, BeanStalk, LightSail, Lambda. One more thing is there is Event Bridge. How many? 5. So we have covered 5 overview services. You understand now? So if you do like this, you will learn a lot. And then whenever, see, if I don't cover this overview, when I'm teaching you EC2, then I will say, Arey Babu, there is a service called Lambda. You can do the automation. I'll say, you don't get in your mind at that time. So if I do like this, everything will be injected in your brains. Now tell me, tuck, if I say, guys, which is the service used for automation purpose? How you are saying now, Patak Lambda. Which is the service where easy and quick deployment of applications? BeanStalk. Which is a service where everything is readily installed. I just need to use it. LightSail. Which is a service where all the events are stored. How you are answering, Macha? Like this, you need to answer in interview. And like this, you will be answering in interview. See, my students, especially research students, when they go for interview, they will not get interviewed. They will interview. They will interview the other guy. Right? Because remember, in real time, when the technical persons who are asking AWS questions, they are not working on AWS. Remember this. There are very rare people, those who are working on AWS, they will ask, what did they see? I'm telling you the loopholes in IT industry. Because people like me will be busy in all the projects. Who are taking the interviews? Technical interviews? Managers or someone who is not much allocated to the project. So they will take these people, and what we will be doing, I'll also do the same thing in my company, right? What I'll do is I'll give the list of questions. And that HR or whoever the technical manager so-called, what he'll do is, whenever you're going for interview, he will get the laptop with him or not? Yes or no? Have you attended interviews? I don't know. Online people, right? Do we get the laptop? Do these people will get what is there in the laptop? Just to do one thing. Just get up and watch in that laptop. AWS questions will be there. That will be written by us, right? And what he'll ask, what is the full form of EC2? Right? So this is how in the real time will be. Very rare chances that, actual AWS person will come and do the interview. When he do the interview, he will ask just 4 or 5 questions. He will get to know that you are good in AWS, and he'll just complete it quickly. That's how I do. Because right, that saying is there, no? If you want to know the entire food is cooked or not, will you put the entire hand inside it? You take one piece out of it and then check. Right? Like this also, interviewers, people like me, experienced people, I'll just ask few questions based on how you are telling, based on how you are expressing, based on the words that you are using. I can easily find out that you really worked on AWS or not. That's how. Okay, we'll talk a lot more about this. Sonu Reddy is telling, in US people from AWS, we are taking interviews. See, Sonu Reddy is learning, she's learning from me now AWS, but she's taking AWS interviews now. You understand? This is how it will. Thank you, Sonu, for giving this. You can put it to everyone so that everyone can see. This is the real fact, what is happening in the industry. So that's why I said, Riyasa students, will not give the interview. They will go for they will take the interview, right? Good. Take the screenshots. Guys, resumes, projects, all these things, forget about it for now. First, what you need to do? Learn. Chadukondi first. Right? Later, everything. So first, concentrate on the subject. After this, these all these things, interview questions, certification questions, all these things. At the end of the course, everything, resume preparations, everything will be there. You have separate mentors. Mentors are there to do all these things, right? So forget about all these things. Everything will be there, but concentrate on the topic. Learn. I'll be giving you theoretical knowledge, logically, troubleshooting, practicals, everything combo, right? We should not only concentrate on theory. We should not only concentrate on practicals. We should have both. Because in interviews, what they'll do, they will ask you to do the practical, or they will ask you the questions. If you are doing the practicals, we'll be able to answer questions. For that reason, I'm taking you with the theory also, practicals both. Okay. So take the second one. Sarath, whatever we are learning our course, concentrate on all these things. And tomorrow we have class. Tomorrow we have class. Okay. For next 55 days, no weekends, nothing. Huh? Okay. But so we have a class tomorrow. Don't miss it. Guys, I'm telling you, everyone out here, don't miss the classes. Because the next 55 days or 55 days, because we have completed already few. See, these days you need to take it very seriously. Because if you concentrate these days, the next life will be easy for you. Don't take it as granted. Don't take it as a joke, right? Concentrate, come here clearly, 1.5 hours. And you got a trainer like me where I'll inject everything in your brains. No need to put much effort. But the only thing is you need to be regular to the classes. And if you miss any topics, it's very difficult, no? Tomorrow, okay, those who have missed today, as we already entered into the AWS, tomorrow, for them, if I ask what is Lambda, they will just put face like this, Lambda, na? What? So what is the purpose of putting this? I respect whatever the payments that you have done. It's not a joke. Everyone, for some people, money will be there. Some people, money will not be there. We need to respect everyone, correct? So each and every penny that you have putting from your parents or you, that has to be worth. You should say after the course, worth Varma, worth, huh? Correct? Yes. Good, Anna. Can you give the final CC for today, please? CC with smile. Great. So that is all for today. Let's connect tomorrow with the next topic. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Don't miss the class. Bye-bye.